Wonder Wet Lynn, I suggest you stay down, the mystery man said, his voice muffled by a cloth covering the lower part of his face. He looked like something out of a history book. He had heavy medieval armor on, all black as pitch, and his hair was tied into a ponytail, giving him the look of a knight and a ninja mixed together. Jemima rose to her feet again. And why would I want to do that, Mr. Mystery? It's hard to kick your ass when I'm laying down, she said with gritted teeth and ran toward her attacker, her hands glowing brightly with energy. She made it to where he stood unflinching, and swung at him. He leapt above her attack and whirled around to kick her in the back of the head, sending her once again to the ground. We are not enemies, Wet Lynn. If you allow me to complete my goal we can part ways peacefully, he said. Jemima was up again. And just what is your goal? Because if it's to upset me then you've more than accomplished it, she said. The man stood silent for a moment. My goal is to destroy Half-Life Harriet, for the good of the city, he told her. Jemima chuckled. See, that's gonna be a problem, she said. Why, see, Harriet is a hero, like me, and if you want to destroy her then you have to go through me, she told him and charged her fists with energy again. Very well, the man said simply, and unsheathed a sword that he wore behind his back. I, Dementia's Knight, challenge you to a duel to the death, he said and took his battle stance. Jemima began to chuckle. Dementia's Knight? What kind of retarded name is that? She asked, trying to stop her laughter. Dementia's Knight said nothing. He just stood silent with his sword drawn and pointed at her. All right, bonehead, I'll fight you, but when I win you have to tell me what you want with Harriet, she said. Dementia's Knight was about to speak when a blast of radiation hit him from above and knocked him to the ground. He was down for a second, and then disappeared in a bright flash of light. You okay? Harriet asked weakly from her rooftop perch. Jemima nodded. You, she asked. Harriet nodded and lay back down. Jemima climbed up to where Harriet was and helped her down to the ground. That guy was trying to kill you. Do you have any idea why? She asked. Harriet shrugged. No idea, he was probably some kind of nut, she said. Dementia's Knight watched the two depart from a nearby rooftop. I failed you, my master. I am sorry, he said into the communication device on his wrist. Half-Life Harriet must be destroyed. You will not fail me again, the voice on the other end said. Dementia's Knight nodded. I understand, master, he said and teleported away to plan his next attack. The sun was starting to set on another day in Paragon City. A pinky-orange reflection shone on the waters of Independence Port as the city began to wind down. Jemima and Harriet were entering Harriet's apartment as night took hold of the city. Well, as much fun as that was, I think I'm gonna call it a day, Harriet said, and flopped onto the couch. Jemima sat next to the couch on the floor and watched Harriet drift off to sleep. Are you mad at me? She asked suddenly. Harriet's eyes opened slowly and she looked at Jemima. She stroked the girl's cheek and smiled. Why would I be mad at you? She asked. Jemima shrugged. I let that guy hurt you, she said. Harriet sat forward and kissed Jemima on the forehead. It wasn't your fault, honey, he blindsided me, she said. Jemima nodded and smiled. Okay, I'll let you rest now, she said and rose to leave. Harriet grabbed Jemima by the edge of the girl's shirt and pulled her to her. Come lay with me, she said, and helped Jemima onto her. Jemima slipped her thumb into her mouth as she lay on top of Harriet, and the two went to sleep together. How sweet, Dementia's Knight said as he watched the two women through a pair of binoculars from the roof of the building across the street. He teleported into Harriet's bedroom, and quietly crept into the living room, his sword drawn. He slunk to the couch and raised his sword above his head, ready to bring it down on Harriet and Jemima.